So this is done, ready to go. That is the next car. The last car just left, so back with the one car at a time. This is the only thing I have to work on. So it's designed that way because I'm easily distracted and I don't want to get distracted. Well, if somebody comes in and says, hey, stop what you're doing, come and do this, that's how mistakes happen. This is his list. P1457, we'll check that here in a minute. One of the side markers is out. That should be like the parking lights. There's a leak. He doesn't know if it's oil or coolant. He wants to change the spark plugs. Interior light isn't working. And he wants to add a kill switch. So there's a ton of oil down this side. This is where it all collects on this side of the motor. If there's any kind of leaking, it all collects and ends up on that subframe down there. Let's see what that is. Looks mainly oil, but a little bit of coolant in there. That hose looks like it's expanded. That could be causing a leak. That's common when oil gets on that rubber. It kind of balloons up like that and it will cause a leak. Mainly looks like oil. So what I'm going to do is start with the cheaper things first. It's not leaking from here and it doesn't look like it's leaking from the valve cover. So the Vtec Solenoid Gasket, it could be the gasket, it could be the Vtec Solenoid itself. However, that thing is expensive, so always go with the cheap thing first. We're going to try the gasket first and also the TCT O-rings, which is below that. And you see that hose right there, that U-shaped hose? That is saturated in oil. So I can confirm the headlights work, but that one marker light at the top there is out. That one is on. That one is out. The next segment is going to be about repairing this interior light. It's going to be 8 to 10 minutes. I'm going to try and give you as much detail as possible. If you don't have that much time to spare, I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks for stopping by. So we don't have power. Let's take this down and see if there's power up here. Past experience, I want to take the switch down, this whole light assembly down first. Okay, so how this works, one of these is power permanent and the other one is a ground when the door switch activates. This is the other ground. Obviously that's the body ground so that the main light works. We're going to check the ground and check and see if we've got power over here. That is the door switch. Yep. Here's a little diagram to show you what I'm doing here. This is the body ground. This is your 12 volt constant. This ground comes from your door switch. So you're going to put a ground on here, check you have power here, then put a ground on here, put your power there, activate your door switch. One thing I like about Honda stuff, you can actually take it apart and repair it. So I don't see any visual damage on the wiring here. I did a YouTube video about how to clean the switch for your door switch. Something pretty common on the S2000, this is the door switch here. And I said I would do one on this. Well, this is a perfect opportunity to do it. So once you take the lens out, you've got the two 8mm heads. So put it over a clean surface. So as you take everything out, you can see where it all goes. Pretty self-explanatory, but hopefully I can show you step by step so you know what to expect when taking it apart. So this has a spring-loaded slide mechanism behind it. Let's lift this wiring out of the way. Can kind of see our problem already. You see how corroded it is. This is our switch mechanism. Let me take this out. There it goes. I knew there was a spring behind it. It's just stuck. So let's get it all apart. Should be a ball bearing behind it too. Right there. And a spring. So let's make sure we got all our parts. Okay. Let's make sure we don't lose this. You see the different lengths? The larger spring is the one that goes through here. That is the detent. That is the click, click, click that you feel. It lines up in here. So the larger spring in the ball go through here. The 2 short springs go behind here. So let's clean all this stuff up and I'll show you what it looks like once we're done. See the difference between clean and dirty? What I'm using is Scotch-Brite right here. Just be careful not to bend the contacts. Just nice and easy. Don't drop it. See how nice that looks? Same on this here. Use Scotch-Brite. See the contacts? They need to be nice. Get all that dark green stuff off there. See how nice that looks? Dry this. Then we're gonna put our dielectric grease on this. So we don't need a lot. If you're afraid of getting this on your fingers, use those dealership gloves. You know, the plastic gloves. I call them dealership gloves. The ball bearing goes in from that side. Then the spring. Wow, brilliant. Then the ball goes on the outside. That way that doesn't fall out. That is brilliant, Honda. Because I was just thinking, how am I going to keep all that together? Brilliant. I love these guys. This is how Honda used to be. Honda used to be very, very smart. So this is the direction it's going to go back together. There we go. Nice. So make sure you didn't wipe all your grease off. Put your switch back together. Put your screws back in there. And I'm confident that's going to work. Hopefully you like the music I selected while I fiddled around with that. All right, let me wash my hands and we'll try it. So let's plug that in first, and this should work. Oh, look at that. That's door switch. There's door switch. Let me confirm that. Yep. All right, so confirm the door switch. So off. So on is going to work when it's grounded. So that goes this way around. So let's turn it off. This has to be grounded to work. Like I mentioned, one of those screws is, so one of those wires is power all the time. The other one is ground from the switch. So this needs to be grounded to the chassis. So this is a permanent ground for when you want it to work as a map light. And the moment of truth, that is door switch, and then on. Yep. Okay. Test it with a switch. All right. I did a video how to fix the switch too, very similar in description. I'll link that to this video too so you can find it, because that is another culprit why your interior light doesn't work. But as you see, it works now. If you're watching this at 11 o'clock at night when the kids are in bed, go ahead and check out the LHT store. This is the LHT new T-shirt. That is my S2000 on the front. And then we have the OEM Plus shirts. These are in the store, lhtperformance.com. The side marker light is a 194. It looks like this. So I talked to him about changing them to LEDs, make them a little brighter, a little bit more noticeable. That way when you ride around and just got one click, makes it a little bit more distinctive. So there you go, nice and bright white. That just looks a little dingy. You can get LEDs in amber, so it'll look like that, but I prefer the white. That's what I did with my car. It makes it way more distinctive and it matches the headlight. So let's change this one next. There we go, you see how it matches the headlights now? It's nice and bright white. All right, let's check that off his list. So code 1457 is typically evaporative emissions, and it's usually leak in the gas tank. It usually doesn't pull vacuum. The ECU has to see a vacuum on it. So let me show you the way I would do it. Unless anybody has been messing around under the car, first thing we do is check the gas cap. I usually ask people, hey, have you got gas recently? That will tell me the problem is there. That is an aftermarket cap. I don't know what that came off. So there is a rubber seal in here, and it's pretty crucial that it fits in this right here. So also you see this kind of gunky stuff that builds up. What I would do is clean that off and make that nice and clean. And so that is the part number for 2000 to 2005. After 06 to 09 is a different part number. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clean this too, but what I always recommend to people too is it says on here 3 clicks. Well, think of it this way. You're trying to seal that. So if you was to turn it, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can still turn it a little bit more before it clicks. Just turn it little. See that? I'm still turning it. It's getting tighter and tighter. And then it clicks again. So I've actually tightened it more than the original 3 clicks. So that seal has to fit in there. I'm going to clean this, but that's just a tip. Don't do that quick 3 clicks. Okay, so I cleaned that out now. Put the cap on. This goes for existing caps. Do the nice 3 clicks and then turn it just slowly a little bit more and see if you can get a little bit more out of it. That way, you know it's on all the way. So if you do that quick 3 click, like that, you can turn it a little bit more, get a little bit more seal out of it. And if you're OCD, you'll turn it until it lines up, right? So I'm 99% certain that's the problem because I see it a lot, but I'm just gonna look at it again, clear his codes and start it, and then do a check and have it pressurize the tank or vacuum the tank and make sure it is good. But I'm pretty sure that's the issue, just because we see it so many times. See Evap leak, and then the other one is right there. Hold on, the canister right there, 2 codes. Let's go ahead and erase that. Successful. Code is off. So I will keep an eye on that and report back by the end of this video. So I wanted to show you this. He has spark plug on his list, and you see the wet right here. Often that is from that tube seal. That one's fine. There, you hear that? So you see that one is saturated with oil. That is the tube seal that is split and leaking. So we're gonna have to pull the valve cover off that one and replace the valve cover gasket kit. So you don't wanna take the spark plug out because all that oil will just run in the cylinder, and it's not gonna ruin anything, but it's just not good. You don't wanna put all that much carbon in there. So what I'm gonna do is put a vacuum hose down there connected to our vacuum. Oh yeah. These are the tube seals. So this is what splits around here. But this fits in here, it has to be pressed in. I usually lube those when we put them in and then lube them to put them back on the car to make sure this slips over that tube nicely. Valve cover gasket is done. We have to do the TCT seals and the Vtec gasket and then the kill switch. But you know what, valve cover, let me show you one that we could open. This is the direction you're used to seeing your valve cover. This is the breather that goes to your intake. This has a cavity all the way through here. So there is one in here and then there's one further back, which is your PCV. This is what it looks like in there. This is obviously the cover for your rockers and cams. This is your tube seal. This is what's keeping the oil from going down your spark plug like I showed you. And this is the cavity. You see where this goes into? This goes down each side of the motor and essentially lets that vapor breathe, and then it runs back into this area here through various channels. But figure I'd show you that. So the Vtec seal right here. The let's see, these are TCTs and this is the hose. So when I mentioned the solenoid, somebody's going to say, well, how does a solenoid leak? I said that too until I saw it numerous times. You would replace the gasket, replace the pressure sensor, check everything, and the aluminum would get porous and it would leak internally. We saw this early on, and I refused to think the aluminum was leaking, but it did. You replace the whole solenoid assembly and it fixes it. But this is a lot cheaper, so we're going to do this first. Let me show you these parts and we'll show you the TCT, how to put those O-rings on there. These are our seals. This is the Vtec Solenoid Gasket seal. Be careful of the imitations on eBay. There's some floating around that even show you this part number, and they're not the right ones. They always leak, and it sucks because these are kind of pricey. They doubled in the last year, by the way. These are the two different seals. They are a different diameter right there. See the part number? 14513, 14514. There is a different one. There is a wider one and a narrow one. You'll see your TCT steps down, and this is the hose that's notorious for leaking. I'll show you this side by side when we take that off. And again, that one's pretty cheap. Just replace it if in doubt, because the oil does ruin these hoses. Let's take the TCT and the Vtec Solenoid Gasket out and let's see what they look like. This is the Vtec Solenoid Assembly, or as Honda call it, a spool valve. Well, this is the gasket. Close examination right here. It looks like it is a little flat, so this obviously should protrude above this aluminum to keep tension on it, to keep that seal. And over time it just loses its tension where it sits flat, where it almost doesn't stick up above that mounting surface. And I always recommend doing this first. I think the gasket is like $35, which is expensive, but this Vtec solenoid valve is like 10 times that. So replace that first. If it doesn't fix it, well, you're at 35 bucks plus your time to take off 3 bolts, which isn't hard, but that is better than doing the expensive part first and find out that didn't fix it. But these leak from the aluminum. I mean, there's a seal up here that you can replace. We've even thought that this was leaking because this looks like oil will come out of it, and we've replaced these, and then you find out it's the aluminum itself, which is still bizarre. I've been working around metal all my life, and it's still hard to think that something that was cast so many years later, the casting leaks internally. Esther got Starbucks today, and look what my coffee cup said. Enjoy. They missed this part. Nice. So I'm going to use this just to drain this in so I don't get it all over my countertop. And then we will replace our seals, and then we will rebuild this. We'll put it back together. So some of you are going to wait for me to talk about TCTs. Which is the best one? Which one do you use? Which aftermarket one do you like? So I'm going to do my little trick to this. I'm not going to charge them for it. And then these are the two seals. You got the small one and the large one. So we have the tensioner back together, done a few of the little tricks in there. These are the two seals I removed, and the word loose, I think that might have been part of our oil issue. I did get a few extras of these because we do run into this time to time. We'll do one at a time. I'm going to do the inside one first. That way I'm not trying to put a seal over a seal. shouldn't have to talk you guys through this, right? See how thick it is there? See how flattened it's got? It's like plastic. See how the gasket protrudes above that surface. Fingers crossed this is the issue. Next thing I'm going to change before I put that on there, it's going to block it. I'm going to replace this hose. So give me a thumbs up or a subscribe or something, because this is one of those jobs that could have been done like 10 times by now, but I'm filming and trying to show you all this to hopefully make your life easier. So it's taking a bit longer, but this is what that hose looks like. There's the hose I just removed. You see how swollen up it is? And it's got really squishy. The oil breaks this down and it sits like here, right there under the TCT and the Vtec Solenoid. So replace this hose. This is the hose. This is the new one. I try and keep a couple on the shelf because we run into this all the time, but there were the part numbers I supplied you. Let's put this on, top up our coolant. We can start it, make sure everything's okay, and then we're going to mount our kill switch. Even the Japanese pack their boxes like unbelievable. Look at this tape.
It's like medical grade.
It's like certified something tape. It's like whatever that is. It's got the fibers in it.
It's medical grade.
Is it?
I feel like
look at
it's
that.
medical grade.
Wow, we should pack our boxes like this and just add another $30 to the shipping. Actually, our shipping's cheap.
Yes,
I just talked to somebody over the weekend and they said the speed that we're shipping, he was blown away that we're that cheap. It's because we're using USPS. I used to make fun of those guys, but you know what? I'm not even going to say it without knocking on wood. But they're killing it. Last thing to do is the kill switch. But I don't want to do that until everything is good. Because last thing you want to do is put a kill switch in the car and find out the car doesn't run because something you did, and then you think is the kill switch. Ready for the test? Doesn't start. All right, close your eyes. You ready? There we are. There's a kill switch. Ready to go. That is done. Last thing was the kill switch. I'm not going to show you where I put it because that is kind of a secret. We do have a JDI main relay conversion and it comes with a kill switch in the store. Check it out, lhtperformance.com. In the meantime, this one is done. Thanks for watching. If you did get any ideas, any tips or tricks, don't forget, hit the subscribe, hit the share, hit the like. We'll see you on the next video. And I always say this, and I always mean it, enjoy your cars.